Okay, now we're going to do Browning's Meeting at Night and Parting at Morning. And I think the sort of separateness and linking of these two poems is one of the things that makes it one of the more difficult parts of the collection, and people are often a bit wary of. So supposedly Browning wrote it as one poem and then split it with two titles, but it is clearly meant to be taken as one piece. I think Meeting at Night works as a two-stanza poem, but Parting at Morning doesn't quite work on its own. So it's likely that in an exam question they'd be paired simply as one poem, and it would be up to you exactly how you picked examples and ideas from them. But one thing that you would definitely want to talk about is the pairing of the two titles. So Meeting at Night and Parting at Morning, you have really strong antithesis there. A really great juxtaposition of images and antithesis of ideas. So you've got meeting and parting, opposite verbs. You've got night and morning, so very opposite nouns. And then you've got that syntactic parallel in how they're constructed. So it definitely suggests there is a sort of progression or an inversion between the two. So if we look at Meeting at Night firstly, it's clearly based on very personal feelings, but it does create a sort of allegory. I don't think we necessarily imagine Browning actually going on some adventure in a boat to get to his lover Elizabeth, but he uses the allegory of crossing a sea and landing on a beach to talk about forbidden or discouraged love. So there's a really strong image in stanza 1 of the grey sea and the long black land, and it's all the modifiers that make it so vivid. Grey, black, yellow, large, low, little. Very clear image. And the most interesting image really is the personification of the water, startled little waves. Quite a cute image, which, like a lot of personification in Browning, is sort of projecting his own emotions onto the surroundings. So you could talk about it as pathetic fallacy as well. But it's important to think about the image literally. When it says fiery ringlets, that's a reflection of the moon. But it's how it looks to him. He sees the startledness. He sees the fieriness in it. And then the gaining of the cow, the cove with pushing prow, very much suggesting kind of success or climax in his sort of desire and tension. Particularly the phrase pushing prow with the plosive alliteration. It almost becomes a phallic image and suggests that the romance of the poem is even sexual excitement and desire. And there's a lot of alliteration and sibilance to make these images enhanced through the sounds layer as well. I think particularly the sibilance in the last line, quench its speed in the slushy sand, very suggestive of the noises of the sea and the beach. What you also notice in each stanza is a symmetrical rhyme scheme: land, low, leap, sleep, prow, sand, where the last and first and last lines sort of come together almost in the couplet in the middle. So A, B, C, C, B, A. And that could represent, like the two titles, two opposites coming together, he and Elizabeth. Second stanza just takes that romance a little bit further. You get such a vivid image because there are such specific lexis like mile, 3 fields, very vivid. And then again, the sharp scratch and the blue spit of a match could perhaps be sexual or just a more general image of desire. The fire of the lighted match being a very polysemic image. And ending with a very traditionally romantic idea of two hearts beating each to each. And the largely monosyllabic lexis, I think, helps to convey that sense of a heartbeat. So the third stanza, or the separate poem Parting at Morning, then becomes much more ambiguous. And really, it seems to convey sadness or regret at parting and returning. When it says a world of men, it really just means society. So quite Victorian sexism, world of men being civilized, ordinary society. The world he has to go back to from this romantic meeting. And the personification of the sun, I think, allows that. The idea of the sun looking over the mountain's rim is the world watching, and the idea that the privacy and intimacy of Meeting at Night has been broken and he has to return to normality. So it probably relates to interruptions in his courtship of Elizabeth and the idea of them having to meet in secrets.